Hello, my name is Tinne from Victoria Designs, and if you've always wanted to create a manly gift, you are going to love our Gentleman's Notebook Kit. The designs and illustrations are perfect for the distinguished gentleman. And I made a tutorial to create a journal folder for that distinguished gentleman. This very sturdy folder holds a journal, a clipboard, and has room for embellishments, etc. as well. All my measurements and guidelines will pop up on the screen, but if you would like a handy PDF with all these measurements plus guidelines, how to adjust them to the size of your journal pages, because it's always a little bit different for everyone, you can opt in via the link in the description to get that PDF. And of course, you can use totally different printables to make this craft as well. You can absolutely use like very shabby chic printables or steampunk or Christmas or Halloween, just as you can use the printables from this gentleman's notebook to create many other crafts. So if you would like to make this project or any other project with the printables of our gentleman's notebook kit, you can find more information in our Etsy shop, the link is below as well. And now let's start crafting. Enjoy! Okay, let me show you how to make the whole journal folder. Now the actual journal I already made following the double journal tutorial that was made with the Bluebells kit. I will link it below so you can find where to make it. The only difference is that I didn't put pockets here in the back. Normally there are pockets here. I didn't put them in because with the brads it became a little bit too thick to fit into our folder here. Now you can do two things. Or you make your journal first and adjust all the measurements according to the formulas that I will give you. Or you make the folder first using my measurements, which is probably a lot easier. And then later on make a journal that will fit in there. But however you want to make it, make sure your journal is not thicker than 3/8 of an inch. Because otherwise this whole journal folder won't close. So my journal now measures 5 3/8 by 8 1/4. The measurements that I'm going to use plus the formulas to adjust your measurements will pop up on the screen. But if you would like a handy PDF with everything on it, just opt in via the link in the description and you will get that PDF. Okay, now let me show you how to make the actual folder. Okay, we are going to need very sturdy cardstock. Now this is 300 grams, that's about 111 pound cover. And make sure it's the sturdy kind, because some cardstock can be heavy but still very not sturdy. So make sure to find a very sturdy one. And we will need 4 pieces for our base, and all 4 of them have different measurements. Yay! But why not? It keeps us crafters on our toes. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is score 3 of these parts. I'm going to show you which ones and how. So for the biggest one, we're going to score at 1 inch on one side. Can you see it? Yes. And then on the other one, just turning it around at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. That's easy, right? Okay, so that's part 1. And base 2, I'm holding everything vertical. As you can see, I'm scoring at 1/2 and 1 inch. Still easy. Base 3, I'm just going to score 1/2 inch. Still vertical. And base 4, I'm not going to score at all. Easiest of them all. Okay, and now let me show you how to turn these into an actual base for a big folder. First, I'm going to score the lines. And I just created. Use a bone folder if necessary for crisp, clean lines. Okay, I like this. Good. Okay, so now we have 4 base parts. Base part 1 has 3 folding lines. Base 2 has 2 folding lines. Base 3 has 1 folding line. And base 4 has none. That's handy to keep them apart. And first I'm going to start with base 1 that has base 1 that has 3 folding lines and base 3 that has 1 folding line. And I'm going to attach this one on top here. Now these 2 here will be some sort of tabs to attach this piece to another piece. And that's why I'm going to cut these a little bit, these corners, so that not all the paper will bulk up, you know. So like this. So I have my 1-inch piece here, and I have this tab here, and this is gonna come on top. And to do that, I'm going to use my double-sided tape. Use sturdy tape if you have some. If you want this piece to last forever, use wet glue, like tacky glue. But it will make your cardstock curl up a little bit, so make sure to spread out the glue very well. And make sure it dries flat, so put the book on top in between. Okay, so I have my tape right here. And I'm going to put this on top right next to the fold. Next, not on. There. I also put my tape next to the fold, not on the fold, so the fold doesn't get sticky. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere. I have here my base part 2 with the 2 folding lines. And again, this last piece is a tab, so I'm going to cut the corners. And this piece is gonna come on top right here. And for that, again, I'm going to put some tape on the tab here, right next to the fold. Again, I'm putting the piece with the tape down, and I'm going to place this on top, right next to the fold. So here's the one with the other tab, not that side, but the other side. This. And now the only thing I need to do is also put some tape on here. Again, right next to the fold. I know I'm repeating myself, but I used to be a teacher, so I've repeated everything 5 million times. And guess what? That's how they learn. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. And now my last piece that didn't have any folding lines will come on top. Like this. Make sure everything is like super straight, etc. So that's very important. And now I have this. And when I close it, it looks like this. See how pretty it is? There, of course, it's not ready yet, but we have our base. And this is optional, but I'm going to round these 4 corners. Can you see them all? Do they all fit on the camera? Well, these 4 corners I'm going to round with my corner rounder piece. Optional, but pretty. So, if you don't have that, you can find something roundish in your house, like this or something. You probably have a million round things in your house. You put it in the corner and trace it and cut it afterwards. Okay, and I'm already going to put it upside down because I'm gonna start to already decorate the whole outside. And for the outside, I cut some panels out of the papers from this kit. Not everything is for the outside, so I'm going to glue these ones on here. Measurements will be there. This one will come here and this one will come here. That's just what I've chosen. You can choose other things, of course. But before I'm going to attach them, I'm actually going to ink the edges. I'm just going to use some brown ink here. You can use whatever you want. Oh, and since I rounded these corners, I'm gonna use the same one for here. And the other one as well. So, quickly going to ink those edges. It seems I'm being quite rustic today. Of course, this is purely optional, you know that. You can use black ink, no ink, hot pink if that's your thing. Now for the sizes of these panels, I usually make them 1/4 inch less high and wide. If I put it in the corner here, then the piece below, then the base piece below. That's not a rule, that's just how I do things. A lot of crafters do that. Just for the spine pieces here, because I also have a spine piece here, I make them 1/4 inch less high, but only 1/8 inch less wide, because it's already quite narrow. Okay, I'm going to glue these in. Well, let me start with the spine piece. I'm just going to use glue stick for this, but again, you can use tape, you can use very sturdy wet glue, whatever you like. And how much time you have to actually make it. Wet glue takes a little bit longer because it needs to dry. You have to make sure it dries flat, but it's sturdier in the end. Okay, so I am just putting this spine piece in the center here. You can leave it open if you like, if you don't want a colored spine piece here. Okay, and now I'm going to put this one right here. This one has the same size as the one on the other end here. Now it seems my project is a little bit too big, can't get it on completely on camera. Nicely in the center here. The other one with the same size right here. This. And for the covers that you will actually see, these are a tiny bit bigger than those on the side. I chose this Chesterfield pattern. Yep, and I'm going to attach them. Like this. And now I'm going to attach my closure. Oh yeah, should have told you that sooner. If you like to bind it with ribbons here, you had to put them underneath here before attaching these. And I'm going to use another closure. These little knickknacks that I need, I just gather them in here so that I don't have like 50 boxes of stuff on my desk. And I don't lose them either. I have this closure right here. And I'm gonna need some of these little brads as well. And it is like this little box closure. Closes like this, you see? With a little hinge. And I want to put it on here. It's a little bit tricky since I can't put it in the center of these side pieces, but it'll work. If you don't have something like this or find something like this, I bought this somewhere ages ago. I'm very sorry, I don't know where, but I'm pretty sure you can find them on Etsy and in dozens other places online as well. So I'm first going to find the center. So it's about here. And then yes, this is a bit tricky, but it's worth it if it works. So I have it closed right here. This should be the center, and I'm making sure both parts will fit onto the little spines here. Okay, really take your time to make sure you put these in the right place. Okay, I'm happy. Let's see if I'm going to be happy later as well. And I'm going to punch these holes that I just marked. Oh yes, I don't want to put anything on here because with the closure it's gonna be a bit weird, but I do want to give it a bit more color, so I'm gonna go over there with my ink. Oh yeah, I forgot, and that's no problem at all that I forgot. I'm gonna do it right now. Let me first finish this one. There. Suddenly this craft cardstock has a lot more dimension. Just a tiny bit of ink. Still using the same ink, by the way. If you want things to be more opaque, you can use Distress Oxide instead of Distress ink. Like this, and actually, just what I said that I forgot, I am going to ink this whole thing, this whole edge, inside and out as well. It'll give a bunch more depth and texture when I do that. Of course, optional. Okay, this whole thing has been inked, and now I'm going to attach the closures. Just making sure I put the right one on the right side. Yes. The holes are small enough so I can attach them with brads. I have these teeny tiny brads. Yes, if you have closures, etc., make sure you have the right size of attachments as well. So I'm simply going to stick it in here. Open the prongs of the brads in that direction, because otherwise I won't be able to properly disguise them, hide them. There. So that's one part attached. Now the other one. Okay, I'm just going to put these brads in and check again if it closes properly. Oh yes, that's great. Happy with that. And I can finish this too. Okay, this will be hidden later by these little strips here that I'm going to put on there. But I'm also going to put some double-sided tape on top so that these prongs have an extra layer of protection, or better said, the paper on top will have an extra layer of protection. Okay, that's too close to the side. Okay, I put this too close to the side, so I'm going to squish this tape a little bit to the side here. Yeah, I'm gonna do that later. Yeah. It's a little bit tricky here because it's so close to the edge. It's okay. It'll work. Like this. I am also going to attach a ring fastener, which is completely optional, but I'm going to put it in the center here. Here's a ring fastener. Tim Holtz carries them, I presume other brands as well. This will come in the center here, and then you can actually put some more stuff on there, like a hanger. I'm just going to find the complete center here. So 4 3/4, that is for me, and also bang in the center of this. Yep, that's good. The hole, And these already come with these prongs, so easy. I can just put this in. Open it, secure it. There. Now it looks like this. I have a little hanger here to put something on or not, or just use it as a pull. Okay, and now I'm going to glue this in. So I have, okay, one too many here. One wide one for here. I have two smaller ones that will fit in here. And it seems a little bit overkill, but I'm going to ink these edges as well. I know it's dark on dark, but it still has some sort of an extra darker edge here. There. Oh yes, the papers that I'm using here are actually quite thin paper, like 90 grams or something. That is usually too thin for me. I recommend using cardstock that is at least 120 grams or heavier. But I have this brown paper laying around for ages and I thought, let's put it to some good use. So I'm going to use this slightly thinner paper here. And I'm going to now apply it on top. Yeah. Thicker paper will hide the prongs of the brads, etc. a tiny bit better. But it'll do the trick. Yes, see. Bulks up a tiny bit here, but it'll be okay. All right, I'm going to do this one, which has the tape a little bit too much to the side. And the strip is a little bit thinner, so I'm just squishing the gluey part to the inside. That's okay. There. Just a little tip, you can do that. Okay. If you use another type of closure, like the ribbons under the top panels, you don't have to do this, but I want to really hide the closure parts here. Yes, I'm going to do the same on the other side here. There. Of course, for these strips you can use paper from the kit as well and print yourself. But what I'm also going to do is use this same brown paper here as a background, because most of it will be filled with pockets. And so it didn't really have a reason to have a very beautiful pattern there or anything. So I'm just going to glue this one in. It has the same size as these ones, by the way. Okay. There. Yeah, I have some glue stains on here, but it'll be covered anyway. Try to avoid those, but yeah. Okay. I can also already glue in this side panel. Now, nothing is gonna come on top here unless, look, let me show you. This journal that I made will come here under elastics on this side. It is quite thick. It is a little bit more than 3/8 of an inch thick. And when I close this, this will be completely filled, you see? But if you plan on only putting a very thin journal here or a bunch of cards instead of a journal or something else that is quite thin, I recommend to put something here as well. Now on this side, I'm going to put box envelopes. So if you have something thin here, I recommend putting some box envelopes here as well, the same ones. And also have a very neutral panel here on top. But I have something very thick here, so there's just no room to put anything here. So I'm going to put this panel in here. And I'm going to round the corners, ink the edges, and glue it in here. Oops, that's not straight. Yes, that's better. Okay, so to reinforce the cover, I'm going to put some extra pieces of this 300 grams cardstock on top here. This will really make the cover much stronger. Now, these are a tiny bit narrower than what's underneath there, so your cover can still move very well. So this one here, I'm just going to glue in, and I'm going to use some double-sided tape for that on the edges, so the edges are really down well. Again, use the glue of your choice. Gonna remove the backing. And because I really want this to stick down very well, I'm going to use some tacky glue. This glue will probably warp my cardstock a little bit because there's water in there, but it will stick a lot better in the end. Put some on the sides as well, there. But I'm gonna let this dry with the book on top. There, and when this is dry, it's gonna feel so much more sturdy. And to make sure it dries flat, I'm gonna put a book on top, as I said. There. And while that's drying, I'm going to prepare the other one because it needs a bit extra. So I have the other one right here, and I'm gonna glue this panel on top. Like this. There. And now the idea is that this will come in here, but it will have elastics to put your journal behind. And I'm going to prepare that right now. I'm gonna turn this around and make some marks. I'm going to make 4 marks, and they will all be 3/8 of an inch from the top and 3/4 of an inch from the side. So I'm gonna make these measurements. There, and I have here an 1/8 of an inch hole punch because I want to thread some elastic through them. If you don't have that, use your awl, or be careful if you have a nail, and then just poke through so you have a bigger hole. This is a little bit easier. And now I have here 2 pieces of elastic. This is about 1 millimeter, 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to thread it through here. And I'm also going to use a brad to hold it in place. So I have a little tiny, oh yeah, let's see how long mine is, by the way. It's about 12 inches, but I'm going to stretch it quite a bit, so I probably have too much. So again, back through the hole here, little tail sticking out, brad through the hole, turning around, and then I'm going to open these prongs again. And I'm actually going to squeeze it underneath the prong, the other prong again as well, just to make sure it's really secured, you know. Well, I'm actually going to put it again under that one as well. Like this. I just turn it around. So it's very, very much secure. So this is very, very, very well secured. And I'm going to put the other end through here. And I'm going to tighten it a little bit more than this. Just make sure you can still put your journal underneath, you know. And then see how much of a tail I have left. I really had too much. Then I'm gonna put again a brad through here. And I'm gonna almost open the legs, and well, that was actually a good idea. I'm gonna squeeze that elastic underneath and then really squeeze the legs of the brad down. There. Going to trim that last piece here. There. Like this. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing this way. Okay, you see I did that with all the 3 others as well. So I almost opened these prongs and I really circled that elastic around and then squeezed the prongs, and this elastic isn't going anywhere. Okay, now I am going to put some tape all around the edges because we're gonna put this in there. In here. Okay, I have tape all around. Gonna remove the tape that I have here. This will be sticky in an hour, so you don't have to rush with this. It's different than with glue. Okay, and then I'm gonna use some extra tape here and there to really cover these bits, you know. Just a bit extra. This, or you can just use wider tape than this. They have tape that is like twice the width or more. You can use that as well. These are just the basic sizes that I have tape wise. I usually use 3/8 of an inch is this, I think, and 1/4 inch, which is 6mm, 9mm. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some glue again. Is this dry? Yes, this is dry. Okay. This bottle is almost empty. What I forgot The previous one is to actually spread out the glue. Forgot that. I always recommend doing that. That's the beauty of glue stick. The spreading happens automatically. A little piece of paper that I'm going to use to spread out the glue a little bit. Of course, you can use a brush or something. There. And then I'm going to glue this in here. Doesn't matter which side is up. Oh yes, it does, because I have a pattern. Okay, gonna put it in like this. And glue it in the center. Make sure the edges are down very well and book on top. Let dry. In the meantime, I am going to create the box envelopes that are coming to the side panel of this folder. And I have here 4 pieces of cardstock, again, the same cardstock that I used for the base pieces. They all have different sizes, of course. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna show you on screen what the sizes are and also how to score them. So the first piece is laid out in landscape. And I am going to score it at 2 inch and also 2 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to turn it around and score it at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch on both sides. So turning this around, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. That's it. And with the second largest part, I am going to do the exact same thing. So first, lay it horizontally and score at 2 and 2 1/4. Turn it around and then score it at 1/2 inch, 3/4. Turn 160, 1/2 inch, 3/4. Okay. And then we have 2 smaller pieces. And yeah, this is almost square, but it's not. So the smallest side on the top, I'm gonna score it again at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. This one as well, just in landscape, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. And that's all the scoring we need to do for these pockets. And now I'm going to fold all these lines. Take your bone folder if you want to make real crisp lines and you don't want to ruin your nails, etc. And I also find it actually hurts when I use my nails. Okay, before I'm going to fold these, I am going to cut some pieces off. So I'm going to cut off this whole corner here. So not on the first line, scoring line, but actually the second scoring line, and I'm gonna cut up to the second scoring line there. And I'm actually going to cut off this whole corner, see? So this whole piece comes off. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side as well. Here. And with this larger piece, the exact same thing again. Because we don't need it. Like this. Okay, and then I am going to fold these lines. I'm gonna cut a little bit more off later, but first I want to score the lines. Use your bone folder, Tinne. It's gonna be so much easier. There. Okay, and then this one as well. And now, take a look. Take something to make a mark. I'm also going to use, this one. And I'm going to align this second fold, not the first one, but the second one, with the edge here. So I'm gonna lay it on top and I'm actually going to slide to the side here. There. So this second fold is completely aligned with the edge. And now I'm going to make a mark on this side flap here, just a small one. Gonna do the exact same thing here. Make sure this is still aligned, and then make a little mark right here. And now I'm gonna take my ruler and draw a line from that mark up to the corner with that first fold here. There. And now I'm going to cut these off, these corners with my scissors, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. This is going to be placed here. These are gonna close and these on top. I'm gonna show you. And now with these triangles cut off, it's easier to put something in there. Otherwise, there would still be some. Let me show you with the other one. I'm gonna quickly fold this too. There. So if I wouldn't cut off these triangles, you see, you would have these thingies like in the way. And if you cut them off, it makes much more sense, you know, you won't be catching anything here, etc. So I'm going to do exactly the same here with this one. Make marks and cut off a triangle. So here. Here, so that's correct, yes. And I'm also already going to cut off little corners from this tab, just like we did before. This one as well, like this. And what I'm also going to do, again, optional, is I'm going to round these two corners and these two from the flap. You can give that flap any shape that you like yourself. Okay, so I did all that for both pockets. So I cut off everything that didn't need to be there. I cut off the corners, etc. And now I'm gonna put the ones with the flaps aside for a bit, and I'm going to concentrate on these two. Now these two will get a window, so I'm going to flip them upside down and make some markings. You can make these windows any shape that you like, an oval, a circle, a rectangle, etc. What I'm going to do is just one example. I am going to put the marking 1 inch from the bottom here. The bottom is where the tab is, by the way. So I'm gonna draw a line. Yes, this handy ruler is exactly 1 inch wide, so easy. Also from both sides. This, and I'm gonna keep it 1 1/4 inch from the top, because otherwise the flap will cover it too much. That's the only reason. So 1/4 inch. Okay, so that is going to be my window. I am not going to cut it out yet. Here, just the same. One inch from the bottom, or 2.5 centimeters, of course. 1 inch from the side. And 1 1/4 inch from the top. That's it. Okay, and I am already going to attach the closure first. I am going to put a magnet in these flaps, and I'm going to put something to hold that magnet right here. Yes, I already inked this flap, and yes, I did something wrong, but I didn't want to confuse you guys, so that's why I chucked that hole out. Okay, I'm going to find the center here in the flap and about 1/2 inch from the top. So it's about here. I'm gonna check if that's right. Yeah, not bad. Here. There. And I have these neodymium magnets, very thin. They're like 1 millimeter thin, but are super strong. I can hardly get them apart. So they're really amazing for crafting. There, oh, finally. I should keep them in separate compartments next time. And of course you can use extra magnets for the other part to catch on, but I usually use washers. They're thinner, they're cheaper, and since those magnets are so super strong, these work. Okay, so I am going to glue this one right here. Since this magnet really needs to hold, I am going to attach it with a little bit of wet glue here, just a drop like this. Make sure it's in the center. And let it dry, very important. In the meantime, I'm going to attach here a magnet as well in the center. While these are drying, I'm going to attach these in there. And I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on the tab here, right next to the fold. Of course, you can use glue all through the whole project. Okay. I'm gonna lay this down and then line everything up, and I'm gonna glue this right next to the fold again. This, there. This one as well. Make sure to do this straight. No. Okay. Good. Since I used wet glue, they still need a little bit of time to dry, so I don't move them at all. So I'm already going to glue the back panels in here. And I have these two. This. I already inked the edges, and I'm just going to glue them in the center right here. First the big one. And this panel will also cover this bottom tab. That's a little bit thick and nothing will catch behind. There you go, the other one as well. And what I also already can do is ink the edges here. I already did that with the flap, outside and in. But only the edges that you will actually see, you know. You will see these a little bit on the outside. And this you will only see on the outside, not the inside. So I can already do that one as well. There. In the meantime, I'm gonna check. Yes, these are, I don't think they're moving anymore. I'm going to use some ink here from a marker to find the placement for these washers or your other magnets. Okay, and now I'm going to close this as good as I can, not quickly and hastily. And now I'm going to close this perfectly like it should. And I should have a mark Well, it's not really rubbing off on this cardstock. Normally this works, but okay. Cool. Yeah, normally this works. Sorry about that on other paper, but then I'm gonna do it the other way, and that is I'm going to put a tiny piece of double-sided tape on these washers. Like this. I'm gonna get off the back there. I'm gonna put it on the magnet with the tape up, not with the tape on the magnet, of course. Like this. And then I'm going to, again, perfectly close it. And there. Yes. This is perfectly in place now, but this came loose. We're gonna get there. You know what? I'm going to put some double-sided tape underneath there as well. Yeah, it wasn't, I was too soon. Normally this works, and it's not a problem at all because I can just put this one here. Yes, you're experimenting with me. No, not really. I really thought this would work better. Okay, so yeah, this is in place now. This is in place now, right in the perfect spot. And I'm gonna do that here again as well. Well, actually, it's working a little bit. Let's see if some extra ink will work better. Oh yes, see, I was just, the ink already dried, you see? But now I know exactly where to put this one. I'm going to put some tape here. Yes, just don't let your ink dry, that's it. Okay, put this one on, perfect. And now I can put the other panels on, so one on top here, one on the front here, and one on the other side of the, don't close yet, of the flaps. So, and I chose these ones. I already inked them. I already cut the corners. I'm going to put, I think, yes, these are gonna come on the front. Let me do these first, and then everything will be dry for me to cut out the windows. And I'm going to hide that little washer as well. There. Of course, when you're using other measurements slightly or anything, make sure that washer is not going to be near this window that you're gonna cut out later. Okay. And here, like this. Yes, I've chosen quite a simple pattern for the front because a lot of it will be cut out. And if you have a very beautiful image here, well, you're going to cut out a lot of it. So that's a bit of a shame. Of course, if you don't plan on cutting out any windows, you can make them as beautiful as you want. Okay, on the inside, I am going to glue these. First, the big one, and it's going to hide that magnet as well. Yeah, it's a little bit trickier to glue around that magnet, so make sure to really get that dry and fixed around the magnet. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue around it as well, just to make sure it will be properly sealed. Like this. Hold it for as long as you need to. Or use a clip to keep the paper in place, of course. There, I think it's all right. And now the outside, I have these. There. And it'll close like this. I am already going to put some double-sided tape on the outside of these 4 tabs, but I'm not going to take the backing off yet. So if you're using only glue, don't do that yet. We're only going to close them when the windows are completely ready. Again, always put your tape right next to the fold. That's already in place for later. Now that everything is in place, I'm going to cut out these windows that I've drawn earlier. I'm going to use a metal ruler and a craft knife to cut these out. Be very careful. Yeah, don't forget you're cutting through 2 layers now. The cardstock, the thick cardstock, and the panel on top. So repeat the cuts if needed. There, clean cuts. I'm also going to add a bit of ink in this window. Now I can reach it. There. Oh! I made a big mistake. I should have put the tape here. I have made this mistake before and I made it again. I should have put the tape here, not here. Okay, I am going to try to get these off again. So I'm going to peel this back with this. I'm going to put a warning in the video so that you don't repeat my mistake, but I can rectify it to see how far I can get a little bit further. Yeah, to here. Yeah, you can't do that with old tape, I presume. So just don't do what I did. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Just a little bit here, and I'm keeping the rest on because I first want to attach this. Okay, no worries. Good. Okay, now for the rest of the window, I am going to put some thinner double-sided tape right around the edge of the window. I'm using a 6mm 1/4 inch tape here. You can use the wider tape for sure, but it's not necessary here, so I prefer to work smaller. Okay, and now for the plastic in the window, I usually use this type of packaging plastic. This actually came from a birthday card for my niece. She had her birthday a few days ago, and this was the packaging of her birthday card. So I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm gonna keep it and craft with it. Just cut a piece that will cover the window and the tape, roughly. Roughly is enough, it doesn't have to be precise. But of course you have to be able to cover the whole tape. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, because otherwise everything inside will get sticky. Yes, it'll work. There. I'm going to remove that backing. Like this. I'm going to place this on top right here, stretch it out like this. And if you have some leftovers, just, this is easier, just cut them off like this. Make sure nothing is sticky, and definitely on the top, because we don't want anything catching in there, put a bit of tape. Can be washi tape, can be clear tape. I'm just going to use a piece of clear tape right here. Nobody will see it. Oh, it's a bit too long. There, like this. And now, normally you should remove the tape from here. I'm going to remove that tape backing, not the tape, the backing I mean. I'm going to see if I can cut off, yes, the excess here a little bit. Doesn't have to. Okay, and now I can just close this. Make sure the corners are straight here. Don't just quickly, haphazardly close it. This and here as well. Like this. Beautiful. Okay, here I still see a little bit of tape peeking out, but I can just pull it off or squish it in. It's not going to be a problem. Okie dokie. So much better. Let's hide all that with a little bit of extra ink. That's what inks is invented for. And now it will close very easily thanks to the magnet closure. Okay, I am going to, again, cut a window, add some plastic, close the whole thing and get back to you. Okay, make sure the sides are really sticking well. So put something in there. There, and now these are ready. These are satisfying snaps, you know. Okay. And now these can be put right next to each other in here. If you want some space in between, you can just make two small ones instead of a big one and a small one. That's totally up to you. You can also just make one and some sort of a pocket here or on top. You can play with this, you know. And again, if you have only a narrow journal under here or something else or cards, I suggest you put some here as well to fill up that space. So you can make a double. And to attach these, I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on the back. Could have done it before. I realize that now. But it's gonna be okay. Just be careful and not squish the whole thing. That's the rule. Don't squish. Especially with tearing off the tape. If that doesn't work, just use some scissors for that for once, like this. First, let's see exactly where I'm going to position them. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put them like this. And I will have about 1/8 of an inch on each side of the dark brown, you know? Then I'm going to make a mark with my pencil. Yeah, they will come against each other, so you won't see the mark anyway later. And to make sure the whole thing will stick very well, I'm also going to use some wet glue. There. Yeah, there. I'm happy with that. push carefully with something inside. Then I'm also going to prepare this one. And position the other one as well. Yes, that's really good. Okay, so now I have 2 box envelopes for ephemera, etc. So let's see where we're at. We have here our 2 large sturdy envelopes. We have here our elastics that will hold this journal. It is so thick that I don't have to put anything here. And here I'm going to put a place for a clipboard. Okay, I'm going to start to make the clipboard. I have here this piece of chipboard to start with. I'm going to make it very easy, nothing special, just a very easy clipboard. Okay, and I have this piece of paper and I'm going to wrap this around this. And for that I'm going to put some double-sided tape all around, glue in the center and just glue it on. So let's put some tape around the edges. This, make sure it really sticks. Remove the backings. And then some glue in the center. Of course, you can again use only glue. And make sure you glue very straight, otherwise your pattern will be not straight. Okay, like this. And then you can just drain the paper, fold it around the edges. And when you've done that, take your scissors and just cut from here, from the edge to that corner. But leave like 1 millimeter or even 2 millimeters from that corner, so you will wrap it later too. Otherwise the corner will be bare and you don't want that. So again, to the corner, but leave like 1 millimeter or so. Turn your scissors and cut the rest. And then when you do that with all 4 sides, you will have 4 tabs. And now I'm going to put my double-sided tape on the tabs, on the inside, right next to the chipboard, not next to the edge of the tab. You can cut that off later if you want, that's not necessary. But if you don't put the tape or glue right next to that chipboard, you might have some air pockets later and that's just not that pretty, you know. Do that to all 4 sides. And then remove the backings. Again. And then fold them in and really pull that paper against the chipboard. I advise to first do the long ends and then the short ends, or vice versa, but not 1, 2, 3, 4, so that, well, yeah, these details will be the same on all sides. So really pull the paper and then tuck in those corners and then do the other sides here as well. Tuck in the corners and then pull like this. There, and the front of your clipboard is already looking very good. Now to finish the back, I have this piece. I already inked the edges, So I'm just going to glue that on. There. Is it not upside? Oh, I think it's upside. Well, it doesn't matter. There. That's nicely finished now. Now you can choose this is the front or that's the front. And I am not going to attach a clip with brads, etc. I'm just going to put a nice little clip on top here. And this will come inside this pocket. Now, I made it this size because I didn't want the clip to be inside the book. Otherwise, this would be way too thick to fit in here. So I really wanted it to stick out. That's something to keep in mind when you're choosing a clip, that the clip can stick out or has the ability to stick out. It also looks very good. Now I'm going to put a little bit of a background here. There. Again, you can choose a more neutral paper. I chose this one. I inked the top and the sides. The bottom you won't see because the pocket will hide it. And nicely in the center here, like this. And for the pocket, I have this piece of cardstock again. I'm just going to put scoring lines on both sides, 1/2 inch, and on the bottom also 1/2 inch. Very easy pocket. And I'm also going to cut off the corners, so like this, to the corner and to the other side. Slanted to the corner and to the other side. And here also I'm going to cut these ends off a little bit. Going to fold these scoring lines. I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the front of these tabs. Right next to the fold again. Okay, and now I'm going to remove these backings. And I advise to first fold in the sides and then already glue the bottom on top. So if you put something in there, it won't catch here. Okay, and now I'm just going to glue this in the center between the folds. Right, line that up with the bottom here and just make sure it's down like this. Your clipboard will fit in nicely here. And to end, I'm going to glue this piece on top here. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot to ink that edge. Well, I'm going to put some paper in here and then I can... With the paper in there, I actually don't ruin whatever's underneath there. Yeah, a bit rough there, but that's okay. Let me glue this panel on top. Like this. Okay. And this will fit in here perfectly. Of course, you can turn it around if you like that side better. You do you. Like this. Put the actual journal in here as well. This. And close the whole thing. Now, to decorate this cover a little bit more, of course you can decorate it exactly as you want. I cut these from the paper and I'm actually just going to glue them on right here. If you use only tape here, here and here on the back, you will have an extra pocket. You can do that as well. So I'm going to glue one here and one right here. Okay, and now I decide to put them actually here instead of there. It is just the same height as the panel underneath. There. There. Right there. There, I am very happy with this project. It is very sturdy, it's very thick, it's completely filled. You can put so much in there. It's actually very usable if you're a journaler. And if you would love a PDF with all the measurements or how you can adjust them to your journal size, you can opt in via the link in the description to get that PDF. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have friends that you think might like this project as well, please send them the link to the video. And I wish you a very, very crafty day. Bye bye.